Hello, YouTubers, and welcome back to another episode of The Grandstand here on the Ohio Patriot Education Network YouTube channel. I'm, as always, your host, AR the Ohio Patriot. And for today's episode, we're going to talk about why candidates politically, especially school board candidates, should take constitutional surveys to run for office. Specifically, this comes from the fact that I was recently looking at my local ballot here for the upcoming November election here, and I noticed that there is 5 people running for 3 school board seats right now, and there is nothing I know about any of these people at all. Never heard of like half of them at all. The only one I've actually heard of in this whole thing is either the brother or the cousin of somebody I went to high school with. And my feeling on the whole thing is it's like, what do I really know about you people? Like, where does your political leaning lie is what it ends up being there. And I feel like, honestly, if we force them to do constitutional based surveys and stuff like that, where it's, just a list of questions and stuff like that is what it would be that they had to fill out before they would run then. And it would, at least give us a barometer of where their, loyalties lies, what it would be, whether they be for parental rights, whether they be, for the trans agenda stuff or whatever the case be there. And indoctrination of kids and shit. So, yeah, I feel like there's definitely something needed there, is what it is. And we're also going to talk about some other stuff here as well because got a bunch of our Ohio stuff. Also, I figured something out too with Reddit that I'm not going to be involved in a lawsuit against, is what it is. Tried to create a new account on there last night. Posted one time, and yeah, 100% that shit's tied to my IP address at this point. So they're IP blocking me, is what it is. And every time I would try to create a new account, they're going to ban that one too, is what it is there. Which is completely unconstitutional, by the way. And it's a bunch of shit to begin with, because number one, just because I fucking posted something in some place doesn't give you the right to ban multiple accounts that I have there, is what it is, assholes. So, yeah, it's a bunch of shit entirely. And like I said, I'm going to seriously, either today or tomorrow, uh, start making calls around and stuff like that and get a bunch of constitutional lawyers on board right now, is what it is. See which one's the best of them, the bunch is what it be then. And then, yeah, seriously consider how much they each cost and start filing lawsuits against these fucking companies, because I'm sick and tired of it, dude. It's completely unconstitutional what they're doing. It is completely a violation of people's freedom of speech at this point. And these sites should not have the ability to do that kind of stuff, honestly, man. Because all it does is basically censor people's voices, and then you wonder why, people are going to rail back against your system, is what it is. Well, they're hard to figure out. But, yeah, that being said, found some interesting stuff on Reddit, though, here. And this one I thought was pretty interesting here. This is going to the U.S. government right now. You had people bullshitting and lying, claiming J.D. Vance has a plan to undermine everyone's safety, and then talks about this April Perry woman here. That's a U.S. attorney based in Chicago that's trying to become like some like district attorney. I believe is what it is there. Like some, I believe she's a Soros DA is what it actually is, and that's the reason why he's actually blocking her ass out there, is what it is, from getting nominated for the position, is what it be there. Because effectively what she would end up being is she would be one of these people that's like, the northern district or southern district or whatever there, and it would be some federal DA is what it would be then. That could fuck over everybody's rights is what it would be then. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, if you actually would read the whole article there, the reason that JD is actually blocking her is because she's, again, most likely one of these Soros pieces of shit, and most likely as well, for that matter, has already been proven to be soft on crime like a motherfucker is what it is. And that's the real issue right now. Why would you want to have people in any position of power in this country that are undermining the sovereignty of this fucking nation, which by and large itself is actually high treason fucking charges right there, man. So, yeah, very fucking frustrating in general. But anyway. And then I thought this one was pretty funny because the left is obviously freaking out about this one here. So you got quote, "We're not a soft target. Ohio school superintendent arms teachers." And then, of course, one of the top comments, "Teachers are indoctrinating our kids to be trans. Give them guns. These people are so incompetent that they can't even follow their own bigoted logic." By the way, that's the kind of retarded leftist NPC bullshit I deal with on a fucking daily basis with these people here in this state, dude. And we pretty much deal with in general across this country every single fucking day. These are the same assholes, by the way, these fucking leftist douchebags that are sitting there holding pro-Palestine rallies and backing Hamas's terrorism this week. These are the people that should never have voting rights in this country because they shouldn't even have fucking legal status in this country anymore because they should be permanently exiled from U.S. soil, is what it is. And the entire point is, these fucking retards don't even understand the difference between somebody who is pushing a trans agenda, which is one of their leftist asswipe fucking indoctrinators, who, by the way, is not going to be an armed teacher, versus people who actually give a shit about the Constitution, give a shit about the Second Amendment, and are willing to put their lives on the line to protect kids, something these fucking piece of shit leftist indoctrinating pedophiles and pedophile enablers would never fucking do to begin with, dude. And that's the entire point. And you've seen that multiple times, honestly. You've seen that many cases here in the state when it comes to Cleveland specifically, or Cincinnati, or any of these other major city ones like that. There are multiple, unified school districts there, is what it would be, because it would be them being like, no, we're not going to arm the teachers because it's going to hurt the kids, kind of thing, or whatever the case be. And actually, that was another one that ex-state rep Stephanie House, about a year and a half ago, give or take, when this whole thing was going through our General Assembly. And she was still in the General Assembly before she got termed out, and then she eventually is now in Cleveland City Council, which, again, I don't get how you're able to move from one political position of power to another in this state. It's like, eventually we should just have a thing that cuts your ass off entirely. It's like, nah, man, you've been in power for like 8-10 years, whatever it is across the board now. Fuck off, go do a real job, bitch. Because we're not paying you a fucking dime in taxpayer money anymore, asshole. And that's the thing. And mind you, Stephanie House is one of the most racist, black supremacist pieces of shit I've ever met in my entire life, dude. She is such a fucking bigoted piece of garbage in general. The fact that she is not sitting in Ohio prison right now for a fucking slew of felonies and misdemeanors based on her chances that she tried to do to deprive us of our constitutional right to keep and bear arms in the state multiple times over, is everything wrong with this country right now. And wrong with the state, for that matter. And it does go to show the dickless rhinos that actually are in power in the state, honestly. Whether it be DeWine or LaRose or anybody else for that matter. So, anywho, because honestly, Stephanie House really should have been exiled from the fucking General Assembly like 4 or 5 years ago now is what it is. When she pulled some shit back, and I think it was 2018 if I'm not mistaken, so it'd be about 5 years ago, give or take. When they were trying to pass stand your ground stuff back then, and she was like basically bitching and moaning in the House floor there is what it was, to the point where I believe it was, I can't remember if it was Householder that time or if it was somebody before him then. But yeah, they literally had to gavel her ass down in the fucking General Assembly then before having her removed from the fucking chambers to do the vote. And it's like, why wouldn't you just remove her from power right then and there, dude? Like, you have the ability. Just call for a fucking vote. Be like, no confidence on this cunt. Bang. Done. She's gone. So, anyway. Going back to this comment section here, I do want to read some of these other comments here. This person said, my in-laws are convinced that my kids' schools are converting them to homosexuality. Every time we tell them something about what the kids are doing, it turns into, they're not teachers. They're not teaching them to be gay, are they? And then this person's like, no, they're not. They're teaching them history and algebra. My husband stood up to them and basically told them to shut the fuck up. It's been a few weeks, haven't heard about it yet. So here's my problem with that, right? Again, it's not like every single person is doing this shit, but there's definitely a majority that are. And it falls directly to leftist ideology these people are pushing on these kids, man. And that's the thing. Like she said with the history or the fucking, algebra, whatever the case be. Yeah, and what are they doing with the history now? They're inserting their own bigoted bullshit into it, man. They're inserting their own fucking literal revisionist history into it, claiming that this person from history that's a known person is now gay or trans, whatever the case be. Like, they did that a couple years ago, actually, is what it was, in I think California's curriculum or something, where they actually made a bunch of new history books that were talking about characters that you have no idea anything about except for the fact they're historical figures, it would be. And they're trying to act like they're gay or bi or something like that now. And it's like, what the fuck? Like, dude, you have no physical evidence of this shit. You're literally just trying to rewrite history to a gayer version is what it is now. And it's fucking ridiculous, dude. And it's complete indoctrination. Or like the same thing with the algebra classes. There was these teachers down in, I remember a few years ago I was watching some stuff. It was, I think it was Campus Reform or something like that on YouTube. And it was this guy talking to these two young girls that were like, and I say girls because there weren't really, women at that point. They were still young as fuck. They just got out of college. It was like 22, 24, something like that. And yeah, it was these indoctrinators. The one was specifically saying how she was an algebra teacher for like, I think it was like 5th and 6th grade or something like that. And instead of actually teaching these kids mathematics, what was she doing? She was literally pushing BLM bullshit down their throats, is what it was. What the fuck does that have to do with you being a math teacher, bitch? Oh, yeah, that's right, nothing. You're fucking fired. Get the fuck out, cunt. And that's what it needs to be anymore, dude. It needs to be that across the board right now. You know? And I'm so glad for people like Duke, honestly, that have realized this shit and are taking the initiatives as parents to be like, no, fuck this. And they're having their kids do homeschooling stuff, and then they're having them do like what my niece did a few years ago, which was you have a lot of these parents now coming together, and they'll form these like big groups is what it is, like 15, 20, 30 kids deep is what it is there. And it'll be a couple times a week. They'll go to some school or they'll go to something, whatever the case be. They'll get together and they'll teach kids various things. And that's the thing, right? Like, you know, we talked about this the other day on Honda's chat. I believe it was Honda's chat on Tuesday, where you have these kids who back in the day, it used to be that school was geared more towards boys is what it was. And then eventually the teachers and the, you know, powers that be, the politicians and stuff like that realized that, oh yeah, girls are kind of being left behind now. And so, you know, back in the day, like early 1900s, mid 1900s, someplace in there, 1940s, 50s, someplace in there, whatever it was, they had switched the curriculum there. Or actually, it might have been up to the 70s now I'm thinking about it. But anyway, sometime in there, like 50s, 60s, 70s, somewhere in there, they had switched the things around to make it more inclined to females and teaching the girls to be smarter and stuff like that is what it was. Because obviously that's the big thing. Like you would look at, you know, girls versus guys, and for the most part, yes, girls do actually achieve faster than boys. The thing is, most boys, myself included, we can do things correctly. We're just not, you know, in class doing study shit to learn. We need to be hands-on. And that's what it is with most guys, honestly. You need to be hands-on taught and stuff, whether it be wood shop, whether it be auto shop, whether it be, you know, anything else is not really taught in schools anymore. You know, let these kids be creative. Let them be boys. Let boys be boys, legitimately, dude. But they're not doing that. Instead, they're like, oh, you know, little Johnny won't pay attention in class and is fidgeting around because he doesn't want to be sitting there for fucking 8 hours a day. Oh, let's put him on some Xanax or Prozac or fucking ADHD meds like Adderall and shit like that. Which, by the way, for those who don't know, Adderall is literally legal fucking meth. Quite literally. And then it's one of the other ones is heroin. Oxycontin is big form of heroin. It's the same ingredients used in both those things, man. And it makes sense why you have people that tend to play Magic the Gathering a lot that will sit there and they will microdose Adderall to stay focused because it's literally fucking methamphetamines minus all the side effects of scratching and shit. So, yeah, it's really fucked up, dude. And the fact that you're putting, you know, small children on this, whether it be 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 years old, whatever the case be, it's fucking ridiculous, dude. These boys do not need to be on that shit. What they need to be what they need to be on is life. They need to be taught correct things in the open. You know, go outside, play, have fun, build a fucking fort for God's sakes. Teach these kids the basics, you know, the Eagle Scout type of shit, dude. How to make a fucking fire, how to build a fort, how to make anything for that matter. You know, hell, take them to a fucking wood shop class, take them to an auto shop class, teach them how to rebuild a fucking car engine for God's sakes. Build a bunch of birdhouses and shit like that, etc., dude. Or anything else in a wood shop for that matter. Build a fucking baseball bat for God's sakes. And I guarantee you'd be better off, honestly. Because you would actually, because the thing with that is, especially with like the wood shop and the auto shop and stuff like that, well, more to the wood shop than anything else for that matter, you would actually be teaching these kids multiple things at the same time. Because you'd be teaching them math through various, you know, dimensions and stuff like that, and angles and everything else like that. So it'd be like geometry and some other stuff, some algebra, some calculus, etc. there, all in one thing. But no, we're not doing that stuff. And it does go back to the fact that when you look back at what school was originally meant to be, it was meant to be a way to take a kid, which mind you, back in the day, school was up to about 6th, 7th grade, someplace in there. It would take a kid till they were about 10, 12, 13 years old, someplace in there, and it would put them from the school straight into a fucking factory. And it was the same thing all the way up through like the 60s and 70s and stuff like that. A little bit post-Vietnam there, where you would have these dudes walk out of high school diploma in hand, walk about 100 feet, and there you go for the about 30, 40 years of your life then at some factory on a line doing stuff. And that was my mom's generation, by the way. My neighbor guy, we had a conversation about this a couple years ago, actually, and he was discussing then about how he was trying to get a factory job back in the day, and they were like, no, bro, we're not going to give it to you only because he was not a Vietnam War vet, because they were prioritizing military people that were in Vietnam to get those positions in that labor market. And it's not that he didn't want to be in Vietnam either. He just was disqualified because I forget what it was, if it was like some kind of like bone spur stuff on his foot, or if it was something else for that matter, something similar like that, like bad ankle or something. So yeah, that was the only reason that he was disqualified from actually being able to serve in this country. And then people were trying to fuck him over from getting a job because of that, dude. So it was kind of fucked up in general. But yeah, he did a good job doing some stuff there is what it was. So and again, it's funny to me too, by the way, when you have the left who will sit there and falsely claim like they're, part of a community, or they're, whose streets are streets kind of stuff there in general. Because going back again, what we were talking about with that last article there about the whole Army teachers there. So you had the one person talk about their in-laws and stuff like that, and then this person here said, sounds like my new in-laws. We don't talk to them at all. They didn't even know they had a grandchild until like a month ago. And whose fault is that? Oh, yeah, that's right. It's probably your fault because you're a piece of shit in general, lady. And that's what it is, dude. It used to be a thing back in the day where you would have generational knowledge be passed down from one generation to another. Especially back in, the days of the original Great Depression. And the reason I say the original Great Depression, just like I talk about the first American Civil War, is because I believe we're going to have another one of these things very soon is what it is. And the thing about it is, man, when you look at the Great Depression time period, there's a lot of food from back then that still exists today is what it is. And the people are trying to make, sort of mainstream again in case something does go down again because of hyperinflation and everything else like that. But at the same time, there's a lot of knowledge that's been lost, especially generationally, because of shit like that right there, because you're not talking to your in-laws, because you're not talking to the grandparents of the kid or whatever the case be. So you have grandson, granddaughter, whatever the case be, will never learn stuff from grandma or grandpa or whatever the case be. Or even for that same vein of things, you as a daughter-in-law or whatever the case be, or if you're their daughter and it's their son-in-law, whatever the case be, that in-law, whether it be daughter-in-law, son-in-law, whatever the case be, will never learn any of that stuff from grandma, grandpa, etc. And this could be vitally important stuff, whether it be, some recipe that's a family recipe, whether it be something else for that matter. And then, of course, people die, and, maybe grandma keeps that shit in her head is what it is, doesn't have it written down anywhere. And yeah, guess what? Now grandma's old cookie recipe, pie recipe, casserole, whatever it was, is lost to time forever because of that. And that's the problem right there. Now you have that generational knowledge lost because you're a fucking piece of shit, and she may have written it down for you at some point, but no, you just wanted to be a fucking cunt and some leftist asshole, and because of that, now you're fucked. Now your family's fucked. Now they're never going to have that thing ever again. Now society's never ever had that thing again. You could have had friends over, family over, whatever the case be, made that dish for them, but no, you can't make that now because you don't know it fucking exists, because it doesn't exist anymore, because it's been lost to time. And it's like that across the board, dude. It's the same thing with knowledge in general. There is so much knowledge that we have lost in this country in the past 50 to 100 years just because of people not retaining that knowledge from the older generations. We are so much worse off than we were before, man. And it fucking disgusts me. You look at my generation, for God's sakes, the older millennials / zennials, and then like going further down than that to the actual millennial generation underneath me, and then to these Gen Z fucking dipshits now. Dude, so many of these people don't even know how to change their own fucking tire, let alone, figure out where the fucking radiator is in their cars. If the shit's overheating, to actually deal with it with some water and stuff like that. It just blows me away, dude. It really does. And then you wonder why these people are just automatons, is what it is now, and just straight up non-playable characters. And it makes sense, honestly, dude. It makes so much sense, honestly. Jesus Christ. So I got to go back to that thread again. The reason I said that, honestly, is because I got to go back to that thread again. So going back to those two people going back and forth with each other there about the in-laws. The first one there said, in-laws used to be great. Then the, quote, Trump cult started. They were conservative before, but they weren't crazy. They listened to too much Fox News conspiracy crap. Go fuck yourself. Again, this is the problem, dude. These leftist asswipes like this right here, man. These people are the fucking problem right here. In general. Yeah, and then this piece of ass shit right here said, they were still racist and or homophobic as fuck before, though. Great is a stretch. Simply stated, you can't fall headlong into the worldview without serious internalized hatred. And then said they're not white. What the hell does that have to do with anything? Dude, like, oh my god, like, the hypocrisy of these fucking people, dude. Like, when this person brings up racism and homophobia, and then that motherfucker admits right then and there with their comment that they're actually the fucking racist. This is the left, ladies and gentlemen. 100% every time. They are so up their own fucking asses, they can't even see their own hypocrisy is what it is, dude. Their own racial hatred, their own bigotry, etc. there. It just blows me away, man. It really does. Oh, my God. And then, of course, you got this stupid bullshit right here, which is them trying to do some BS citizen initiative now to fuck us over yet again with redistricting crap here. We got, and I quote, redistricting amendment backers set to collect voter signatures after clearing ballot board. Yeah, how much you want to bet they paid off another fucking ballot board now? It's a bunch of shit entirely, dude. We're going to read this article here in a minute, but yeah, it's completely unconstitutional. I definitely 100% need to get my one county, one rep thing going right now and get it to the ballot board here and do a real redistricting is what it is there. We have 88 counties, 88 reps, and then it would be, again, 88 counties, and for the state Senate, it would be 32 people then instead of, or sorry, not 32, 22 people instead of 33 right now. So, yeah, bunch of shit entirely, dude. Yeah, must collect 413 signatures from 44 of 88 counties to be qualifying for the November 2024 ballot. Yeah, fuck that bullshit. By the way, this citizens, not politicians, assholes, are shocker that fucking cunt Maureen O'Connor should be in our fucking state prison right now for the rhino shit she did as a state Supreme Court justice. For the unconstitutional crap she did there. By the way, Citizens Not Politicians is also backed by, who would have guessed it, George Soros and Michael Bloomberg. Anti-gunner and a literal fucking Nazi collaborator in Soros. So, yeah. Yeah, and then, of course, they have former Supreme Court Justice Maureen O'Connor was bullshitting here about the Citizens Not Politicians thing there. Yeah, no, the fact that they let her fucking buy them off like that, dude. No, it's time for the entire state ballot board to get their asses thrown in prison right now. And I mean that shit seriously. It's time for Frank LaRose and Dave Yost to grow some goddamn balls as Secretary of State and AG respectively and start charging these cocksuckers. Because there is no way that there's not, like, if nothing else, dude, investigate these motherfuckers for taking bribes. Because I guarantee you're going to find some bribery shit going on there from O'Connor to these people. And hell, if you look back far enough, I'm sure you would look at the envelope that Alice Russo took back in 2021 that goes directly to Maureen O'Connor, and then from Maureen O'Connor goes to these fucking people is what it would be then. Within the last 2-year time span, then is what it is. So, anyways. Let's see here. Oh, and then you had this disgusting ass Kentucky ad come out against Daniel Cameron recently. And hopefully Andy Beshear actually cost himself the governorship in this one. By the end of this year is what it'll be then. So you had this people on our Ohio here say, wonder what effect this Kentucky ad will have on issue 1 voters in Ohio. And it was literally some girl who was talking about when she was 12, her stepfather proceeded to molest her, and then eventually she had to have his kid because of various state laws, is what it was there. And I guess people are now saying that Andy Bashir has played that fucking stupid ass attack ad so much, people are like, fuck you, Andy. Because that's the thing, right? And it's the same thing with these people that are pushing the pro-abortion shit. Here's what it is, dude. You push it so much in people's faces, dude. Even the people that were previously on your side, even the moderate leftists that were previously on your side and stuff like that, are now like, fuck you, cunts. We're voting against this shit. And that's the thing. Like, who the fuck uses a girl who, in that ad, looks like she's about probably 16, 17, someplace in there, maybe 18 at most, that's been psychologically traumatized for years of her life now, to try to push your disgusting shit. Oh, yeah, that's right. It's the same fucking people that tried to push the Beth/Kyle ad here in Ohio to push for fucking abortion on demand. A couple who, mind you, in the 30-second attack ad, doesn't say a fucking word about how their child had a rare medical condition, 1 in a million, 1 in 10 million, whatever the hell it was, where her organs came to the outside of her body. So she had her organs on the outside of the body instead of the inside, and because of that, could not survive. That's why they had to have the abortion. Not a thing that happens every day, man. Not a thing that happens to a lot of people, for that matter. So you have these people, you have this couple, Beth and Kyle, who are psychologically traumatized, mentally fucked in the head now, just like this girl when she was 12 years old being molested by her stepfather. And you're going to re-traumatize these people to push your fucking disgusting agenda. It just, oh my god, dude. It just infuriates me to no end. And it should piss off everybody else too, for that matter. Because that's the problem with the left, dude. That is how sick and disgusting people truly are right now. They're some of the most depraved pieces of shit ever. And again, going back to that whole thing now. Then we got this one here. Do you want abortion to be effectively banned with almost no exceptions, or do you want issue 1? No, I want you leftists to fuck off to another state, if not another country for that matter. Because we're sick and tired of your terroristic shit here, dude. We're sick and tired of your mass genocide of the unborn. We're sick and tired of your fucking child sterilization of kids with fucking hormone drugs. We're sick and tired of your disgusting fucking commie agenda in our country is what it is. So yeah, go fuck yourself. No on issue 1, cunts. Keep going here for a minute or two. This one I thought was pretty funny, actually. This is actually what got me to do this episode today, actually, was the whole school board candidate thing. So we got these fucking people claiming, where's it at here now? List of far-right candidates for school boards organized by district in Ohio. So basically, these people are claiming these people are far-right, even though when you start looking into them, what they actually are is, number one, they're actually parents of kids in the school district, unlike a lot of these leftist cunts who have nobody in the fucking school district at all, and should disqualify them on the spot from even being able to run for that office because they don't have anybody in that school district, whether it be a child, a niece, a nephew, whatever the case be, a grandchild, whatever it is there, any direct ties to that school. No, they just want power because in most cases, and Bloomberg's already proven this multiple times, by the way, the Michael Bloomberg every town mom's demand action agenda, is they're trying to get these fucking cunts from MDA, from Students Demand Action, from Everytown, etc., into office to push their anti-gunner bullshit on the next generation of kids as school board members is what it is. And then from there, what they'll do is they'll have them get a little bit of experience in the school boards, a couple years here and there is what it is, because that's usually about the term that they have there. It's like 2 to 4 years someplace in there. And then they'll simply shift them from a school board member and try to push them up to a higher position of power, whether it be a state rep, a state senator, whatever the case be, or whether it be a county commissioner or something else for that matter, like that. And then eventually from there, it goes again back further. And then eventually, if it's, 10, 15, 20-year plan down the road, they'll try to have one of these people run for a governorship or something, is what it is there. And that's why they tend to get them when they're like, 22, 24, 26, something like that. so that by the time they're in their mid-40s and have, 20 years of political experience underneath their belt at that point of all far leftist bullshit, then they'll push them into a governorship race or something like that. That's what it is then, or a state secretary of state race, or an AG's race at a state level, or something else for that matter is what it is there. A treasurer, an auditor, something like that is what it is then. So I also love, by the way, in this situation is the left. Like, I'm going to thank you, leftists, by the way. Thank you for showing me what candidates people should be voting for in this situation. Then I just wish, honestly, that some of these were in my county here in Stark County for the local township and for my local school district, what is over here. Because if they were, I would be like, okay, cool. I'm voting for that person immediately. But yeah, as they put them here, they're talking about calling these actual parental rights groups and stuff like that extremist groups, by the way. So yeah, let's see. You got county school district candidate, extremist group endorsements and affiliations, additional red flags, and then notes. Jesus fucking Christ. So let's see. You got first one is this person named Darby Bobby or Bodie. Claims additional red flags. Current board member. Disturbing anti-Semitic comments, anti-LGBTQ actions, anti-CRT and BLM messaging. Oh, so you mean anti-terrorism is what it is? Anti-leftist terrorism? Opposition to mental health programs. Attacks against fellow community members on Facebook and website. Jesus fucking Christ. What a bunch of asswives. Then you got the second person here. Endorsed by a PAC tied directly to extremist school board member. And that was the first guy there is what it was. Concerning anti-CRT rhetoric on Facebook. Oh, so they don't want anti-white racism, which is what fucking critical race theory is, by the way, being taught to kids in schools and racially dividing fucking kids for another generation, you assholes. Yeah, go fuck yourself, leftists, you fucking cunts. It really is time to just fight these people, honestly, dude. Like, I'm seriously just like, when's the Civil War gonna start already, dude? Because it's time to just fucking start, dealing with these fuckers entirely, dude, in this country. It really is, bro. Really is. Then you got one person a couple people tied to the Ohio value votes. I'm going to go further down in this because there is a couple here in Stark County that I want to discuss here. Yeah, let's see. Oh, okay. So a bunch of the Stark County ones are tied to Moms for Liberty, which they call a hate group. Yeah. Designated a hate group by, who was it now? Oh, yeah, that's right. The Southern Poverty Law Center, the biggest leftist hate mongers in this entire fucking country. And the biggest leftist created hate group ever, like 40-something years ago is what it was, dude. So, then we got 1776, Project PAC, Moms for Liberty. I need to go meet some of these people, actually, dude, and give them a handshake. Be like, cool, you're on our side. Hope you win this race, bro. So, anyway. I'm actually going to post this in the to the Discord now in a couple minutes here for any of my Ohio buddies that want to do anything here. So, and then of course we got the other one here talking about the map making, redistricting stuff. Here's what it is there for the signature collecting there. That's another one we already talked about a minute ago. We're talking about two more ones though. And I think we're going to leave off with the pro-life subreddit there is what will be the last one then. This will be the second to last one I want to talk about here, which is if I can get it here now. Which is, in-laws have two huge vote no signs in their yard, and I have personally saved, this person said, I was personally saved from an abortion I did not want to have. My baby passed away in my body, but my body did not naturally miscarry, so I had to have an abortion. I'm going to call bullshit on that one, by the way. And I'd love to know the actual ins and outs of that one, if that'd be the case. Claims they watched how much pain my husband and I were in. Very much wanted that child. Currently, 3 of their daughter-in-laws are pregnant, including me, and any of us could need a life-saving procedure done during the time, and they still have to vote no. Vote no sign probably displayed. The ignorance is baffling to me, and I am trying my hardest not to let it affect my relationship with them. I just don't understand how people can have so much an opinion on something that does not apply to them, something they have watched their own loved ones go through. Oh, really? Doesn't apply to them. Oh, really, lady? Oh, really? Does not apply to them that you are pregnant and are their fucking daughter-in-law? That two of their other daughter-in-laws are pregnant right now? Which, by the way, you dumb bitch and liar. Just like this I got the other day, the no on issue 1 sign here. This is what they're calling, this is what the leftists are calling lies, by the way. This is all issue 1 stuff right here. And it's not, by the way. What it's basically telling you straight up is exactly how the shit is right now with the actual abortion stuff here. I'm going to try to pull this open now. Oh yeah, that's what they were bitching about, because there's absentee ballot applications in this as well. But yeah, what they're saying here, that this is all the quote-unquote extremism stuff right here, which is vote to stop late-term abortion. And then it says, in their own words, Planned Parenthood action, it's not just about abortion. Advocating for abortion goes hand in hand with advocating for gender-affirming care. Urge.org, which I think is another Bloomberg / Planned Parenthood related thing there is what it is. So it's time to end parental involvement laws. And then as we have the whole issue 1 stuff there at the bottom, we got issue 1 legalizes late-term abortions when the baby can feel pain. Issue 1 erases age, health, and safety rules at abortion clinics. Issue 1 helps predators cover their crimes by eliminating parental consent. And issue 1 never uses the word woman and does not limit surgeries to just abortion, leaving the door wide open for transgender operations, which is very, very true. And like I said before, when we actually look up the whole issue 1 thing here on Ballotpedia, they have actually redone the whole situation here that shows how it would actually look in our state constitution. So I'm going to go ahead and grab this up right now because it talks about it at the very end. And this is why it's very, very important that people put no on this shit, by the way. Because it is right here at the very end here. Fetal viability means the point in a pregnancy when, in the professional judgment of the pregnant patient's treating physician, the fetus has a significant likelihood of survival outside the uterus with reasonable measures, and I quote, this is determined on a case-by-case basis. So instead of it being, okay, this kid is 18 weeks along, this kid is 20 weeks along, this kid is 22 weeks along, whatever the case be, they're viable outside the womb, across the board. No, it's this kid is 18 weeks and viable across the board. This kid is 30 weeks and not viable. This kid is 27 weeks and not viable. This kid is literally a day or two from being born and isn't considered viable now. That's how fucked up these people are, dude. And like I said, this is a direct copy and paste bunch of bullshit from Michigan a year ago. And if I'm not mistaken, it was Bloomberg back then too. And then finally, what we're going to talk about today is this whole thing, which is, are pro-life and child rape victims, the way they talk is disgusting. Please vote against us in November. So there is currently a thread on the pro-life subreddit, and it's quite eye-opening the way pro-lifers view children who become pregnant by being victims of violence. Again, I'm going to call BS on this one, dude, because what they're talking about is people being pro-life, sort of no matter what is what it is, dude. And the thing is, okay, we talked about this before, right? There was that woman in Pennsylvania last year who was trying to run against Dr. Oz and a couple other people for the in the U.S. Senate race there that obviously Fetterman stole eventually then. So she actually admitted about a week or so before the election happened that she was the victim of a rape. Her mother was raped and she was the product of that rape. Does that mean this kid should be snuffed out permanently? No, it does not, dude. Obviously, We should be against rape and incest and stuff like that. But guess what, people? And this is something the left never talks about, by the way. Rape and incest are fucking teeny fractions in the overall spectrum of pregnancies in this country, dude. It's literally not even percentage points in most cases. Or if it is, it's maybe like 1 or 2%. Now, granted, that is terrible that you have the 1 or 2% of what it is. But again, it's not like there's people just walking around, dudes just walking around raping everybody, man. It's not like there's just stepfathers or fathers, whatever the case be, just walking around raping young girls and stuff like that. Even that case with a 10-year-old here in Ohio, man, that they love to keep bringing up, by the way. Nobody ever talks about how the guy who was the fucking rapist in the situation was an illegal alien who was in this country because of that piece of shit Obama's open border system. Or the fact that the woman that he was dating that was the kid's legal guardian was also illegal in this country, which is why she didn't go to the fucking cops because, shocker, number 3 in that situation, the 10-year-old girl herself was also illegally in this country. Everybody involved was an illegal alien in this nation, dude. It's why they didn't go to the cops about this thing in Ohio. It's why they went over to Indiana at the time, which, by the way, she would have been covered in the state of Ohio under emergency stuff, dude, to have an abortion at 10 years old. Because she obviously couldn't carry that kid to term is what it is. There is caveats in our laws right now. Not to mention the fact that pretty much since it's been trying to be put in place right now for the 6-week heartbeat ban, it's never actually been in place right now because of some fucking douchebag county judge, and I believe it was Franklin County there, that banned the shit outright. So we've never actually had a heartbeat bill in place in this state right now. It's still like 23, 24 weeks in or something like that is where you can have a fucking abortion to right now in the state of Ohio. But of course, the left never talks about that shit, obviously, because why would they? Because, shocker, it would break their fucking narrative into a million goddamn pieces and show that they're just a bunch of hypocrite fucking liars is what it is, dude. That's why I've just had it with these fucking people, dude. That's why in so many cases there just needs to be violence is what it is. Just across the board right now. So, anyway. But yeah, we're about, let's see. Tuesday. 3 weeks from Tuesday is the election then, the 7th. So, yeah, we've got about 24 more days right now to deal with this bullshit. Can't wait until it's over, honestly, dude. The left is so disgusting in general, dude. And they don't realize, by the way, like how many people they actually snowed in August for the 60% amendment threshold. That was the real issue on. Because even my cousins were snowed by it in some cases. Because they just didn't want government overreach is what it was, even though it wasn't really government overreach. It was literally aligning with 40-something other states at the time then. But yeah, it was these same people that they think are going to vote yes on abortion stuff. And it's like, no, dude, I've talked to a lot of them actually. And they're just like, yeah, just because I voted, no on the one in August doesn't mean I'm not going to still vote no in November here is what it is. So, and I think that's when they're going to learn. They're going to learn real quick how they fucked up big time is what it is. So anyway, I think we'll finish this off with this because it kind of goes hand in hand with what we're talking about today is what it is here. So you got, I'm not going to share the video here, but I'm going to talk about Annie Noah's post here a couple hours ago. It says that a Palestine rally at UNC, which would be University of North Carolina, Chapel Hill. I think this, if I'm not mistaken, that was the one that had the shooting at it not long ago, where it was the kid, the Asian guy shooting his Asian teacher then. Said radical leftist students threatening a man who they perceived to be an Israeli supporter. Campus police led the man away. Apparently for his own safety, the leftist rally was promoted with a flyer featuring a Hamas terrorist. Because again, dude, this is the fucking left in a nutshell. These are the same people who are pushing for abortion on demand to the moment of birth and even beyond for that matter. These are the same people who are trying to literally put small children who have not gone through puberty ever in their lives on fucking hormone blocking drugs that will stop them from ever having a puberty at all and you would have an entire generation of Jazz Jennings type of kids that are so emotionally fucked because they've been having their puberty taken away from them, have the ability to actually go through biological puberty and be able to either be a girl or a guy or whichever it is at that point that they were born as naturally. And because of that, now they have no feeling. Now they have no sexual arousal ever in their lives over the age of 18. Now they're never going to have a functioning relationship with anybody because they're going to be so fucked in the head. Not to mention you get into the whole thing with, you know, going back to Jazz's fucking thing there is what it was for their trans surgery when they were 17, by the way. A lot of people don't talk about that one either, by the way. Is how they claim that that motherfucker was 18, but they were actually 17 when that still happened. Because it was months before their actual 18th birthday is what it was there. But yeah, they did not, because of that kid not going through puberty, they did not have enough viable material to even make the fucking quote-unquote neo-vagina there. To the point when they showed it on the TLC there is what it was. You actually had the shit pop. The stitches were popping and it fucking fell out of this person. The sleeve thing that they created out of their previous dick. Which, by the way, was fucking teeny. Because, again, the sick-ass Jennings family never let their fucking child go through male puberty is what it was. So there wasn't enough length there to really do anything right. Not to mention, you go that whole thing and go down that route of the bottom surgery stuff. It's a lifetime patient being created, man. You literally have to dilate the fucking hole in your body now to stop it from permanently closing up. You have adults right now who are regretting doing this stuff because they're in permanent, constant pain every day of their lives. They can't pee correctly. They can't have actual bathroom. Go to the bathroom properly. Because they're so fucked up. Because their hole is not right. Because the fucking aligned shit for their urethra and stuff like that is not right. And they're trying to push this shit on small children, for God's sakes. And you wonder why people like me get involved in this shit. It's because we're sick of it, man. We're sick of the fucking bullshit. We're sick of this fucking demonic entities behind this shit. Because that's what these people are, dude. They're fucking demons. Soros, Bloomberg, all these motherfuckers. Martin Haskell, another one of these fucking assholes who's behind this shit. By the way, that's another one of these douchebags behind the vote yes on issue 1 thing here. This guy who was a late-term abortionist in Ohio who should be at the end of a fucking rope right now in the state of Ohio for crimes against humanity. Getting the death penalty in the state for that shit. But yet is able to walk free and have money to do attack ads against the Vote No crowd. A man who literally coined the term late-term abortion and did so many of them in the state of Ohio. It's just like that one motherfucker over in Pennsylvania where they were finding literal baby corpses in the fucking trash can at this guy's clinic. That's who Martin Haskell is, dude. He's just like that asshole. The fact that this dude is not sitting in prison forever, at least, if not, like I said, death penalty legitimately at that point for crimes against humanity is what it is exactly what's wrong with our country right now, dude. And then you got a bunch of dumbass fucking rhinos and dumbass fucking leftists in the state of Ohio now that are trying to do with our state death penalty because of that shit. Because they're like, we can't get the fucking sterilization, or we can't get the lethal injection drugs. So fucking add options to it. Add firing squad, add public hanging, add fucking the electric chair, add the gas chamber again, for God's sakes. I don't care if it's considered cruel and unusual at this point or not, dude. These fucking sick sons of bitches mass murdered children. Genocided generations of fucking kids. And they should be allowed to live after that? Fuck no. They should have the hardest, most painful fucking punishment possible happen to them as a death penalty. They should be in excruciating agony when it happens. And it's as simple as that, really. Anyway, that's pretty much it for the day, though. I'll be back here at some point in the future. I don't know exactly when today, probably about 12 hours from now, give or take. We'll be doing Freedom Friday as long as I still have a channel. You know, hopefully they won't. Again, freedom of speech, YouTube. Deal with it. And that's the entire point, man. Like, people need to be, at minimum, these people like Haskell should be rotting in a jail cell right now. And if nothing else, let the fucking cell blocks deal with them for that matter, dude. Be like, oh, whoops, it was another Epstein kind of deal. Seriously. Not that hard, bro. But yeah, we're not doing that, is what it is. And it's unfortunate. Like I said, anybody that thinks it's okay to mass murder the unborn, dude, is fucking beyond disgusting at this point. It's literally ritual sacrifice, people. Wake the fuck up. That's all it is. It's just like they did back in the day, man, when you had human sacrifice happen, when you had fucking like virgins being sacrificed on some fucking altar, whatever it was there, to basically be like, oh, we need rain for our crops, because it was shit like that, honestly. Same stuff now, except it's even more demonic, dude. Yeah, it really just bothers the hell out of me, is what it is. And I'll be damned if I let this shit pass. I'll be damned if I ever let this shit pass. I don't think it will, though. I think people are going to be smart enough to vote it down. The thing is, though, if it were to pass, I know exactly how it would pass, honestly, which would be mass voter fraud, just like always, dude. Just like how the leftists get their fucking leftist candidates involved and are able to put them in office there. They commit massive voter fraud at every single scale, is what it is. And I guarantee you, if they tried that shit here, oh, buddy, there is going to be such a lawsuit up Planned Parenthood's ass. There's going to be such a lawsuit up George Soros's ass through the ACLU. It ain't even going to be funny at that point. I will bury these motherfuckers in lawsuits personally. And I will take them for every goddamn dime that they have at that point. And I will put them permanently out of business. And I will make that my life's mission at this point. Because there's no fucking way I'm letting these assholes win. These demonic, child molesting pieces of shit. These demon baby killers is what they are. They're everything, man. They're pedos, they're demons, they're all of it. Vote no on issue 1 if you actually give a shit about human life, if you actually give a shit about kids not being sterilized for another generation. Or if you're some demonic piece of shit, then go ahead and vote yes on it. And fuck you, as well say on that one. And it's as simple as that. Also, obviously today is supposed to be the potential Hamas terrorist attack nationwide is what it is. Worldwide here is what it is. Stay safe, man, if you're going to be out. Stay strapped. Make sure you don't get clapped. Be hyper vigilant. Know where your exits are at all times. Be actually checking around, looking around, making sure that nobody's coming at you, man. And if they are, deal with the situation. Be that arm carrier that deals with the situation, man. Stop potential terrorism if you think it's going to happen. And it's as simple as that, really. Anyway, like I said, I'll be back later for Freedom Friday. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode. And going full circle back before we finish this off. Yeah, it's time for candidates to do constitutional surveys in this country to run for office. Show where their loyalties lie. Show if they're actually a constitutionalist or not. Show if they actually give a shit about the Constitution, if they actually give a shit about, the kids, etc. there. Or if it's just some douchebag trying to get into office to get to a higher office later on then. And it's as simple as that, really. Anyway, have a good one, y'all. Later.